What's up, guys? Thank you for tuning in to this third and final part of the rooftop tent build. As you know, last video we finished the base and all the ceiling and everything, and the only thing we needed to do was sew up the canvas and all the tent. And well, we got that done, and this is going to be kind of an overview of all the parts kind of put into one. So let's get right into it. So the tent is made from 1x4s for the top piece and 2x4s for the bottom piece, but the 2x4s on the bottom were milled a little bit. Watch part 1 for all of that stuff. So it's fully made of wood. I coated it with a couple coats of oil-based primer sealer to get it all sealed up for the water and everything, and then I put a whole or 2 coats or 3 coats of bed liner on it. This is all part 2 where I did this. 2 coats of bed liner, and the inside is pretty much the same setup except without the bed liner. As you guys can see, the front of this, it has a full continuous hinge. It's called a plastic living hinge. I got it from US Plastic. It's called a poly hinge. So the reason I went with this hinge is first off, it's super cheap. I wanted to try it out. It looks like a cool material. It looks very waterproof. I like the way it looks with all of those stainless screws on the front of it, and it matches the rest of it. Moving to the side, we have a gas strut here. It is a 80-pound gas strut. Both sides, they both have 80-pound ones, so they're both plenty strong for this. It lifts it like nothing. And on the side we have a clasp right here, and 2 on the front, and then another one on this side. So plenty of power to keep it down while I'm driving. So this tent's been on here just a day. I mean, I put it on yesterday, and I'll show you guys the mounting situation once it's all open. But I actually just noticed something with this 80-pound strut. So if you guys can see that, it's actually pulled out of the top piece of wood. So I think the reason for this is, for one, these screws are pretty tiny, and 80 pounds is kind of a lot. I had a feeling this was going to happen. So what I'm going to do is cut out a square or rectangle of steel, and I'll weld this piece to the steel. You could probably bolt it too if you don't have a welder, but I'm going to weld it, and then I'll have 4 through bolts all the way through to the inside. I'll probably do that on this one and the other one on the other side, just to be safe. And these ones seem to be good. They're going into 2x4. These are pretty solid. So yeah, just a little thing happened here. I can fix that. It's no big deal, but it still operates the same as it did before. This thing ended up being pretty low profile. It's pretty much exactly 7 inches thick. So that's pretty small as far as these rooftop tents go. And it weighs, with no mattress in it, as it sits up here, it weighed 115 pounds. So I assume with the mattress, I don't know, maybe another 10 or 15 pounds. So 130 pounds on top, which is not bad at all. I drove it around yesterday, no problems at all. And this rack weighs 70 pounds. This is a pretty big rack, all steel. But even that's not super heavy compared to some like front runner racks or something like that. But yeah, it's super sturdy. I don't even feel it up there. Just a little bit of wind noise from the front, but nothing that wasn't there before, pretty much. Let's go ahead and get this thing open. So we just undo the 4 clasps and it'll come right out. Still working on a ladder. I'll make a ladder for this thing soon. And there you go. Get a little bit of a closer look at this, and I can show you my mounting situation. I have these crossbars that go across, right? And I basically just put 2 bolts through the wood and all the way down to this piece of 1/8 inch steel, and it just kind of clamps it down. I have that in 4 spots, 2 in the back and 2 in the front, and I did pretty much that same setup on the inside. I got to get some longer bolts, so that's what I'm going to do today. But yeah, pretty simple. You could probably just get rectangle U-bolts, and that would work just as well. But I had this stuff laying around, so I figured I'd give it a shot. So this video's coming out a bit later because I had a little mix up with the canvas. Like I said in the last video, I thought I bought just enough canvas to do it. With the amount of canvas I had before, I would have had to sew seams right here, so it'd be 3 separate pieces. It would be a front piece and a side piece and another side piece. And it was just, I I didn't get enough of it. So I ended up buying more. I bought a whole 8 yards. That way I could get one continuous piece all the way around. So that's my recommendation to you, is to buy enough canvas, because I didn't do that and it cost me more than it should have. Also, you can see right here I have one big door, no windows yet, but for now this big door works perfectly. I actually had my mom sew all of this up because I'm not very good at sewing. I probably could have done it if I gave enough time, but she's done it a lot longer than I have, so it got done pretty quickly. So to secure the tent to this bottom 2x4, I just use these lath screws. They're really flat, and I gave myself just enough room to close the top. So you can see the front here, just two big zippers that go all the way up, so I can roll it up. I plan to put some Velcro right here in the bottom, but so far it hasn't really needed it, and I've sprayed it down. It sat in the rain like this, totally waterproof. And I'll probably end up making a rain fly for it out of all that extra material I have, because I bought 5 yards of canvas the first time, wasn't enough, and then I bought 8 yards, so I have 13 yards of canvas. Had it, so I mean I got quite a bit left over to make something like that. But here, we can go ahead and open this up, open that guy up there, all the way up, and we can just toss this up on top for now. Doesn't hurt anything. And here's the inside. It's pretty spacious. I still got to cut off some of the ends back there or screw them in or something, but yeah, it's actually a lot bigger than it seemed before. And here you can see my clamp set up on this side. Again, just an 1/8 inch piece of steel. I marked out, I measured and everything, and marked out where the 2-inch crossbars sit, and so I was able to drill my holes. They actually all lined up perfectly, so pretty happy with that. Still got to get a mattress in here. Debating on whether to buy like a topper. I don't know what thickness to go with quite yet. It's either 2 or 3 inch, because I don't need anything super thick or super comfy. I don't really want a memory foam one, because I know I'll just sink to the bottom and hit the wood anyways. So I don't know, still thinking about that. But yeah, the inside pretty good. I'll go ahead and get in here for you and show you how dark it is. Okay, you guys are at the very front of the tent, so the front of the car. This is the back of the car, and I believe I made it just around 55 inches tall. So I'm only 5'8" or 5'9", so I don't need to stand up in here. I wanted to keep it pretty low, that way it wouldn't catch a whole lot of wind, and I think I did a good job on that. And it's plenty of room. I mean, you can sit in here just fine. I mean, I'm crisscross, and I can't even touch, I can hardly touch the roof here. So I mean, it's plenty tall for me. It'd be pretty easy to change in here and do anything like that. So yeah, let's go ahead and get this closed, and you guys can see how dark it gets. Again, I'll probably make some sort of ribbon to go across here and catch the door, but for now it doesn't matter. Zip it down. And now we're in here. So you guys can see it went completely black. I can actually see a little bit, but the camera is not. Let me adjust that. Alright, so I adjusted the camera so it's seeing pretty much what I'm seeing. You can see the gas strut right here, a little bit on the other side. But yeah, it's not super dark, not super bright. That's why I want to add a window. I think I'll add some sort of mesh window that I can cover up and have all that, for not only for light but for ventilation. You can also do that. You can see I screwed it all in on the top here. I still got some extra zipper left over. Probably just cut that off anytime, not a big deal. But yeah, so I just got it somewhat tight, because I mean, you don't want it super tight to where it's constantly trying to rip at these screws. So yeah, just comfortably tight, I guess. Not too bad in here. You're probably getting a weird echo. So am I. I'm about halfway down the tent here, and I mean, I can still sit crisscross just fine. If I go up a little bit, I can hit the top, but it's perfect size, I think. It also gets super hot in here if you sit in here long enough. So I'll probably keep this door open as long as I can until the bugs come in or something. But this top definitely gets hot with the black. With the bed liner on the outside, it's pretty warm to the touch. So that's a good and a bad thing. I mean, in the winter you probably want to catch as much sunlight as you can and warm everything up, but in the summertime, or right now it's about 75 outside, and this thing it's got to be a good 80, 85 in here. So yeah, it gets real hot. This stuff holds in. It insulates pretty well, which is again a good and a bad thing. It's like wearing it's like having a big puffy jacket. So it's perfect. It's good in the winter and everything, in the snow, but in the summer you probably don't want to wear it. So that's what the windows are going to be for. I might just end up buying a already made tent and just making that work on both sides. With that broken piece up there, I'm going to fix it with this. This is 2.5 inch by 1/8 inch flat stock. I'm just going to cut a rectangle out of this and go ahead and weld that little ball in place. It's kind of a bummer. I'm going to do it on the ladder because I'm not taking this thing back off. So I'll probably fix that in this video just because I want to get the finished product out of here. It's a little tricky closing this without a bungee cord around, because I mean I will end up putting a bungee cord, but it's not super hard to close it, just not as easy as it could be. So what I do, come up here. You want to leave this door open or else you won't even be able to close it. You just got to keep an eye on everything, all of the tent material, both sides. Go down slowly. The slower you go, the easier it is. There you have it. Oh, I missed this front part. Yeah, you just gotta keep an eye on everything. It'll pop out on you. There you go. I don't think I missed anything. And then you clamp it up and you're ready to go. Easy as that. Now it's all closed. I am kind of worried about that piece up there, so I'm going to go ahead and open it in a second just so it's not putting all the 80 pounds on there. Show you guys how we did the stitching. So we hemmed the bottom and the top and double stitched it, as well as the zippers. So we had a zipper foot for the sewing machine, so you can see this one stitch very close to the zipper, which is nice, and then the second stitch kind of on the outside, so it gives it this double stitched all the way up. Again, you hem this and then put the zipper on. Same with this, hem it and then zipper. We made a little bit more of an overlap on this side than we did on this one. This one's not even overlapped, it's just right at the end. So just to make it a little more waterproof, even though I'm gonna put the rain fly on it. But yeah, so just double stitched everything. This canvas is super strong. It's 600 denier canvas, and it's pretty cheap too. It's like 45 bucks or something. I had a $10 off coupon, so it was like 45 bucks for 8 yards of it, which I think is super reasonable considering how much you end up having left over, so you can, I don't know, make other things out of that. But yeah, pretty simple sewing. It's a little harder to work with than ripstop. I think ripstop is a little easier to sew, a little easier to get set up. I bought some of that double-sided tape for sewing, and it was kind of worthless on this stuff. It's thick enough, it doesn't really stick to it. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend buying any of that double-sided tape if you're going to be using canvas like this. I'm going to go ahead and get this shock situation fixed. It's a lot easier to do when it's open, so I can prop it open and unscrew that up there and do everything I need to do. I just went and got some hardware for the spots where it mounts to the rack, so it's a little bit longer, some crush washers and all that, so we'll be good to go. Show you guys some of the damage that happened from that. A little unfortunate that it happened, but we'll go ahead and get a plate made or I'll make the plate to go over this, and we'll just fill that with silicone. Should be good as new. This is what I'm doing. So got this 1/8 inch plate, and I'm just gonna go ahead and weld this whole mount. This is galvanized, so I went ahead and grinded that down and grinded down the mill scale on this too. And yeah, I'll just weld it in, make sure it's as even as I can make it. By eye, of course, everything's by eye. There we go, got it all welded. And yeah, you want to make for certain that you grind down all that galvanization, because it makes some nasty smoke that'll get you really sick. You can see I plug welded where the screw holes were before, and yeah, just welded all the way around it. Looks super solid, that's never coming apart. Got the shock mounted up there. You can see that big plate. Actually looks pretty good. That's gonna get painted black, and yeah, it's a lot stronger than it was before. So I just gotta go ahead and do the other side, and we'll be golden. All right, we are done. You can see that is painted black. Gotta add 2 more washers up there. I didn't get enough for some reason. Yeah, but fixed it all, and it works great now, and that is plenty beefy for these little struts. I might end up having to do it down here, but this seems to be holding up pretty good. Well, here I am editing all of this, this whole video. I totally forgot to go over the price of everything, but I figure better late than never. So let's go ahead and go over the price. So the materials, that's all the wood, the plywood, the 2x4s, all that stuff, $111. Seems like a lot, but it's just what it is. The latches were $11. The zippers were $14. The weather seal, that's what I put on the lid part to seal it all up, that was $14. The plastic hinge came out to around $30 with shipping and all that. The canvas, so I originally bought 5 yards of canvas. It was $37, but it turned out to not be enough, so I had to order a whole nother set, like a whole nother batch of canvas. I ordered 8 yards. So my tip to you is to just order more than you need. So the first time I bought 5 yards, it was $37, and then the next time I bought 8 yards, it was $45. I had like a $10 off coupon or something. And yeah, so that's, I mean, just buy the right amount. So I'll go ahead and call it 45 bucks for you guys. The primer and the sealer and stuff, that was $24. I spent $15 on that green paint that I didn't even end up using. I didn't end up keeping it on the outside. Then it was 40 bucks for the bed liner, $7 for some stainless screws. That was for the whole hinge, so I used 50 stainless screws for that. Let's see, the struts and the little ball joints cost me, those were $46. The screws for the attaching the canvas to the wood, that was $9. The rest of the hardware for like attaching it to the rack and all that, and the hardware, just all of the hardware apart from those screws I mentioned, that was $6. And then I also got a handle that you guys didn't see me put on today. That was $6 as well. So that comes out to a grand total of $378 for everything you saw there. Now I still need to buy a mattress, but I mean, that shouldn't add more than $75 or so. So under 500 bucks easily. I ended up spending $415 just because I ordered the wrong amount of canvas. Yeah, I mean, plus or minus some if you don't have some of the materials or the tools or something, I don't know, or different prices everywhere. But yeah, that's what I spent on mine, and you guys could probably spend a pretty similar amount if you're building a similar tent. That is going to be it for this video. Thank you for tuning in for the final part of this rooftop tent build, and stay tuned for maybe some camping trips and some off-roading or something like that. So I'll see you guys in the next one.